Hello, my name is Matt Matthews. I am the director of Yellow Ribbons, and Yellow Ribbons is the latest play from Dana Bagshaw. This is the second performance on our premiere day for Yellow Ribbons, and we're presenting it across Zoom. Zoom for us in the theater is a rather new medium. Our actors are having great fun adjusting to Zoom. Well, actors are resilient and they do adjust. So that's it's a real test of their ability there, and we're doing great. We're doing great. I have a wonderful cast. I am so pleased with my cast. They are just every one of them wonderful when they're in their roles. They're wonderful actors in their own right, and they are all finding under Zoom's constraints new ways to tell a story. I hope you find this show as wonderful as I think it might be and have as much fun with it as I have had and as I think my cast has had. So please sit back and enjoy Yellow Ribbons.
Welcome to Kate Hanley's Hats for Every Woman, for Every Occasion. Kate Hanley, that's me. Grew up in Santa Cruz, trained as a milliner in San Francisco. I still purchase most of my hats there. They're very much in demand here because this town is becoming quite sophisticated in its own right. We have electricity and telephones and streetcars. The Coastal Railroad brings folks to the boardwalk from Oakland and San Jose, and the streetcar brings them right up Pacific Avenue to my shop. Oh, those streetcars are a great improvement over horses fouling up the streets. It got so bad, my customers have to lift up their skirts and maneuver themselves past all the droppings just to get across the street. So many that the street sweepers couldn't just keep up with them. I think horses should be banned from the streets. When women get the vote, that is one thing we'll definitely take care of. Oh, yes, my business is thriving. Well, first, there's the River Carnival in May, when everyone wants a festive straw hat. And now, the ladies' convention. Yellow ribbons, that's the ticket. All the suffragists are wearing them, and I mean to put them on my hats. Oh, and here's the committee now.
We are indeed, and most grateful to you for your offer to supply more yellow ribbons to our cause.
Oh, I wish I could do more, but you know, I do want women to get the vote, but I'm just so busy in my shop.
You do wonders. A woman not afraid to put her talents to work. A shining example of self-sufficiency to us all.
Oh, Shaw, you're the one with talent. Hey, look at this on the front page of today's Surf. A cordial invitation is extended to all who are opposed to the 11th Amendment to be present this evening. It would Be well to come early to secure your seats, as the friends of the cause will fill the YMCA hall soon after the doors are opened. For to have heard Miss Shaw once is to create a strong desire to hear her again. Such writing, such publicity, and your name here in all capital letters, Lulu Green.
I'll admit I like seeing my name in print, and they printed every word just as I wrote it.
Aw, I wanted to be a newspaper woman once, you know.
And why didn't you?
When I finished at Holy Cross, the nuns, I told them of my ambition, and they were appalled. Not suitable for a lady, they said. So instead, they arranged for me to take an apprenticeship, a milliner's apprenticeship, in San Francisco.
Alone in San Francisco?
No, I lived with my aunt.
And now your name is in the paper all the time. Hardly a month goes by when we don't read about one of your trips to San Francisco and the stylish hats you bring back. And your advertisements, exquisite. Do you illustrate them yourself?
I do. Now, here's some yellow ribbon. How many yards do you want?
Oh, I don't know. I was hoping you'd figure that out. We had at least 100 people Wednesday afternoon at the church and more that evening. And with Anna Shaw coming to town today, we reckon the whole town will turn out. Of course, I hope most people will still be wearing the ribbons that we first gave them.
Right. Well, I figure a ribbon is 8 inches long, right? So that would be 4 ribbons to a yard. You figure 300 people, that's 75 yards.
Ooh, and how much will that be?
That you'll never know because I will donate the ribbon.
We do have a budget.
Save it. This is good for my business. This is 10 yards. Let me put that away. Oh, in fact, why not wear hats with yellow ribbons? Look, I designed some here to show you. I could have it like this, or I could add a bow, any yellow bow to any hat that you like.
Well, I like this one.
Yes, very chic.
Mm-hmm.
And Lulu, how about that one?
Well,
Try it on. Oh, perhaps to go with that young man that you were spotted with?
What man?
oh, this town has more tongues than eyes.
One of the joys of a hat shop.
And what, pray tell, did you hear?
Oh, just about a handsome man in uniform that came here for the GAR convention, and you were seen sharing a blanket with him at the picnic.
Mm-hmm. Surely not.
We were sitting on that blanket enjoying a very proper lunch. Susan B. Anthony caused quite a ruckus at the convention, and he wanted to talk to me about it.
Huh. Some women get 2 men in a lifetime. That must explain why others get none.
My husband was murdered.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was 23 years ago.
Oh, maybe I did hear something about that at the time. Did it happen in Pescadero?
Yes, it was.
The newspaper account was very confusing. I remember reading it 2 or 3 times and I couldn't figure it out.
Botched. They completely botched it. They only reported the rumors. They didn't ask me, and I was an eyewitness. It happened right in front of me and the children. My eldest was 3. He didn't remember it as such, but he's always been afraid of guns. They ought to be outlawed.
Well, that's something we'll take care of when women get the vote. After whiskey prohibition.
Guns and whiskey together are lethal, that's for sure. The gang that shot my husband was skunk drunk.
Oh.
You know, I think what happened back then made me want to become a newspaper writer. People need to know the facts. They need reliable reporting. But I'm afraid the kind of thinking you encountered, Kate, has worked against me. I've only been allowed to write about music and women's events.
Well, maybe the problem is your name. That's why I like to be called JL. People take me more seriously, except my husband, that is. He still calls me Jeanette.
Well, what does the L stand for?
Lulu.
Oh,
Oh, why should women have to change their name? I don't agree.
Uh-oh, look who's coming. It's Mr. Surf Editor himself.
Quick, hide the ribbon.
Hello. Morning, ladies. Now don't be long, dear. Lunch is at 12.
Of course. So,
Mrs. Taylor, good to have you back again. I trust you've been enjoying the last batches of hats you bought from me.
well, what other choice do I have? Since you run your advertisements in my husband's paper, Arthur says I'd be a traitor to go to Mary Neary's. Oh, I like all the feathers on that one.
Oh, sorry, this one is taken.
Oh, well.
Tell me, Mrs. Taylor,
Hmm.
do you always comply with what your husband says?
When it makes sense, but I stand up to him when it doesn't.
Mm.
Unfortunately, when it comes to women's suffrage, he feels he must take a stand against it. What does your husband say about you being a suffragist?
Well, he likes to know I'm happily occupied so he can go off to the lodge or trout fishing in the river.
Buenos dias, señoras.
Senorita Gonzalez, and a very good day to you.
I am looking for a hat to wear to the water carnival.
I have just the one for you.
Magnifico!
Yeah.
But maybe something a little more modest in front of the new queen. I am crowning her, you see.
Oh, yes, I do see. Well, how about this one? No matter what you wear, really, you'll look like a queen.
I like the yellow ribbon. It's so chic.
We're using yellow ribbons for the Women's Suffrage Convention. Will you be attending?
Suffer what?
Suffrage! It's a fight to give women the right to vote.
Oh, that. Why should I want to vote? I've got everything I need.
No doubt you do. But not everyone has two rich fathers.
Two fathers?
Her stepfather and her birth father.
Oh, we need young women like you. By the time we win the vote, you'll be of age. Your future depends upon this. Come to the meeting and find out why.
We're expecting the whole town. The speaker is Reverend Anna Shaw.
The whole town? Well, then of course I should be there. Did you say Reverend Anna Shaw? A woman preacher?
That's right. She's world famous.
That's strange. I'm sure in my Catholic church, you will never see a woman become a priest. In any news, I need a hat with no yellow ribbon. I can't wear yellow ribbon to the water carnival.
Oh, I think you should. Let's all wear yellow ribbons clear up till election time.
All right, ladies, what do you think of this one? With a yellow ribbon bow added, of course.
Very nice. Yes, I think that looks great.
Yeah, great.
Mhm.
Right. I'll take it. He won't like it, but oh, look. He's coming back already.
Quick, hide the ribbon.
Well, what's this? Has the ladies' meeting convened already?
Oh no, we're just trying on hats for the water carnival.
Looks like the ladies' committee to me. Well, I've got a story to cover. Mrs. Taylor, I will miss luncheon. Can you see yourself home?
I think I can manage. But before you go, buy this hat for me.
Do you really need another hat?
Yes.
Miss Handley, please deduct it from your next advertising bill.
That will mess up my bookkeeping, but all right.
Oh, thank you.
If we can sweeten that one's tea, we can get the whole party.
You know, frankly, I find some of the women that you invite here, these suffragists, like that Anna Shaw, to be too severe in both dress and manner. She really cut down the men. I don't know how she'll win any votes. I prefer a life of beauty, a certain joie de vivre. My business would not survive if we lost our sense of feminine fashion.
We're not asking you to give up fashion, but to gain the right to vote. Do come along to the meeting. I hear Anna Shawn has changed her tune a little. She certainly gets people's attention. We're expecting a big crowd.
Well, if everyone's going to be there, I might as well close up my shop. I assure you, however, I will be wearing my latest design.
And well, you should. Be yourself. That's what it's all about.
That and getting the vote. Well, we better get over there and start cutting this ribbon.
Kate, Anita, Miss Taylor, we'll see you at the convention.
See you there.
Right this way to the YMCA for the convention of the National Woman's Suffrage Movement. Gentlemen, you have reserved seating right in the center section. We have an excellent speaker from back east, the Reverend Anna Shaw. But to get things started, we have performances by our very own Lulu Green and her Yellow Ribbon Choir.
It's just 100 years ago, our mothers and our sons lit up for all the world to see the flags of the freedom's fires. Through bloodshed and through hardship, they labored in a fight. Today we women labor still for liberty and right. We boast our land of freedom, shackling of the slaves. We point with sad or bleeding hearts to myriads of graves. They tell the story of that ended slavery's night, and still we women strove for our liberty and right. Oh, we wear a yellow ribbon upon our women's breast. We are prouder of its steady views than of our royal crest. 'Twas God's own primal color, for purity and light. We wear it now for liberty, for justice, and for right.
Thank you, choir, for your lovely music. Perfect for the occasion and beautifully sung. One stanza in the choir's song stood out for me. I want to read it to you. We boast our land of freedom, the unshackling of the slaves. We point with sad though bleeding hearts to the myriads of graves. They tell the story of a war that ended slavery's night. And still our women struggle for their liberty and right. I believe that expresses why we are here today, why we're in this space and at this time. Now, will you join me in prayer? Our Creator, we thank you for bringing us, men and women, together to consider the important matter of suffrage equality. Be with us this afternoon and open our minds and hearts to your truth. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Taylor, and welcome to all of you. We had an overwhelming turnout yesterday at the Congregational Church, and in anticipation of more of you attending to hear today's popular speaker, we asked the YMCA to let us use their premises. We're grateful to them for accommodating us on such short notice, and to all of you for making the adjustment. My name is J.L. Everts, President of the Santa Cruz Political Equality Association. Now, I know you are really present to hear Reverend Anna Shaw, so I won't keep you, but just a short review of what she brings to us. Born in England, she grew up and lived the life of a pioneer in Michigan. She graduated from Boston University in both medicine and theology, and was ordained as the first woman minister in the Methodist Church. After preaching in one parish for 7 years, she has exchanged it for a much larger one. Now the world is a stage for our noble cause. She lectures for the National American Suffrage Association, even speaking before congregational committees. And well, she should, for Reverend Shaw is a born orator. Her keen wit and irresistible logic makes her one of the ablest speakers on the platform. Please join me in giving her a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted to be back in Santa Cruz after you so kindly listened to me last year. I've learned a lot since then. I have learned that some women in California do own property, and they pay taxes on that property. And I say, if they pay taxes, why not vote? Taxation without representation is unconstitutional.
I knew I'd find you here. I told you not to listen to this suffrage malarkey. And you, Anna Shaw, what are you doing back here? You New York troublemaker. What do you know about life in California? Would you just leave us alone?
Despite the few who would hold us down, I say men are not the enemy. I have discovered hundreds, and I believe there are thousands of men willing to partner with women in this great democracy of ours. But I'm afraid when it comes to the polls this November, we must count on you. Look at you here, sitting here listening to me today, hearing me out, giving me another chance. It's just as Reverend Taylor prayed. You've opened your hearts and minds, and with your help, we will win the franchise in the election this fall. It is with the help of the men of Santa Cruz that I am able to be here today, like Reverend Taylor, who, despite the fact that I am a woman minister and not of his denomination, opened his doors of his church to our cause yesterday, and when he saw that it was overrun, had the presence of mind to contact the YMCA for today's meeting. And Mrs. J.L. Everts, it is with the generous support of men like your husband, Morgan Everts, that we are able to put Santa Cruz on our tour. Is Mr. Everts here?
Yes, he is here, most likely shrinking in his seat.
Usually I am shrinking in my seat at events like this and prefer to let my wife speak out. But now I feel it's time for me to take a stand. Why let half of the intelligence in America go to waste? That's what I say. And I call upon all you men here this evening to join me in supporting women's suffrage. This November, let's vote to give women the vote.
You are a good man, a man not afraid to help his wife shine. That's what I'm talking about, a partnership between men and women. When we join hands together in the fight for democracy, we can win. We will win. I understand that you had a wonderful water carnival last winter. So successful that you're having another one next month. How did such a success come about? With women, men and women working together. How I wish I could stay to see your wonderful Miss Anita Gonzalez crowned the next queen. Anita, are you here?
See, and thank you, Senora Everts, for inviting me. Last year, you saw me floating down the river, but now I am here on solid ground, taking a stand for women's suffrage.
Lovely, lovely. Now let's talk about another queen, a queen from the country of my birth, Queen Victoria. Let's look at what happens when a woman comes into power. Does the country fall to pieces? No, it gets stronger and stronger because Queen Victoria is a wise sovereign, more capable, I dare say, than the current incumbent of the White House, and more so than his successor, whoever that may be. Queen Victoria is an attentive wife and a dutiful mother, and yet she attends her duties as a ruler of a great nation.
How can you compare England to our great nation? Who fought against British tyranny? Men. And who made America great? Men.
Many women fought for our democracy. Great women like Elizabeth Stanton, who died before seeing the fulfillment of her work, but left a legacy that still drives us on. And Eliza Burnham Farnham, who reformed your prisons and inspired your very own Georgiana Kirby. Both those women died before seeing the franchise they fought for, but we still have great women. Women like Susan B. Anthony, who returns to your city this summer, still fighting. Women deserve the right to vote.
And without the likes of you to rile them up, women have no desire to vote. Take my wife here, for instance.
Excuse me, sir. Have you even asked her?
Well,
no one has the right to say that women do not want to vote. When women win their voting rights, they do vote. In Wyoming, more women voted than men. And in Colorado, out of the 80,000 women that were eligible to vote, 63,000 did vote. It is happening. And when women vote, life improves.
We all know when women get to vote, they're going to join the prohibitionists and close all our saloons. That's the real reason women want to vote.
Please, let's show courtesy to our speaker.
Thank you. Now, where was I? Yes, in Boston, where women vote in school elections, they have freed their schools from sectarian influence. I applaud this because even as a Methodist minister, I believe in the separation of church and state. And right here in Santa Cruz, Eliza Boston was appointed to serve on your school board. The first woman in public office. I believe she's in the Yellow Ribbon Choir. With her dedication and fervor, your schools improved. And Harriet Blackburn provides the Chinese of Santa Cruz with housing and garden lands. Is Harriet here?
Let the Yellow Devils take care of themselves. We already passed the law to get rid of them. We don't need no interfering, meddling, do-gooder women meddling and interfering and doing any good.
The need for women as leaders and peacemakers is great. The roles of women are many. They are leaders on many fronts. Can I tell you a little secret? The one position that I would like to have is that of policeman. I'm serious. Picture it. If your police force in Santa Cruz was made up of Salvation Army women, your life would be vastly improved.
Yeah. They'd round us up from the saloons and send us home to our wives.
Let the woman speak.
Thank you. Let us not be sidetracked. We have too much at stake. Let's continue as partners the work that Ellen Van Valkenburg and Albert Brown in 1869 started right here in Santa Cruz. Do any of you remember that? Together, Ellen and Albert staged an event that began a court appeal for women's right to vote. Ellen, a taxpayer, went to Brown, then county clerk, and demanded to be allowed to sign the voter registration. He formally refused and then filed the famous test case, Van Valkenburg versus Brown, that went all the way to the Supreme Court. That case lost, proving that the courts are not the answer. The answer is to have a legislation that clearly states that women will not be denied the right to vote. Let us stand together, men and women, for the future of our country and this great state of California. Let's see women's suffrage pass in California this November. Men of Santa Cruz, we are counting on you.
Well done, Mr. Everts. I know that took a lot of courage to stand up and say what you did.
I hope I'm not sorry.
Oh, how so?
Well, I like to be free to go about my business anonymously, without people coming up to me all the time. Unless, of course, I'm with Jeanette, that is. She handles every encounter with grace and dignity.
Well, that she does. Well, what did you think of Anna Shaw?
Oh, very impressive. I'd say she handled the situation with real authority.
How about that wanting to be a policeman bit? A panderer, if ever I heard one. Next thing you know, she'll be wanting to be president of the United States. A real wheedler. Didn't you pick up that she was wheedling us?
Oh, I enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, at least she didn't call men the tyrant sex like she did the last time she was here. But a real wheedler, and I'm going to say so in my paper.
Well, then I'll write a second opinion that you can print alongside it. Of course. I could send my opinion to the Sentinel.
I will print it with pleasure. Controversy sells.
Oh,
There, there you are. What's that thing on your head?
my hat?
Yes, I can see that, but where did it come from?
Well, it's the one I bought this morning at Kate's hat shop.
Oh, you mean the one I bought, but I don't remember a yellow ribbon on it.
Oh, well, I added the ribbon after I got here, and while you were getting seated, I'm standing with the suffragists.
If you, my dear, ever got the vote, you'd wait to see how I was voting, then you'd vote the opposite, just to cancel mine out.
Have you ever considered that you'd be offsetting my vote?
Okay. See, women's suffrage wrecks marriages.
Depends on the kind of marriage you have. Now, I myself enjoy a woman who makes me think. And Arthur, I dare say your wife has a very sharp wit. I remember at your last dinner party.
Dinner parties are one thing, but in public, honestly, how can you expect us to take you seriously wearing hats like those? Now, a man's hat signifies dignity. It means business. Mrs. Taylor, let's go. I have a report to write.
Arthur, I'm afraid, is a tough customer.
It's all a front. The Sentinel supports suffrage, so he feels he must take the opposite view for his paper. Like he said, controversy sells.
He does have a point about our hats. I feel as if I've got a tied up package sitting on top of my head.
Yes, I can see a new style of hats on the horizon. This fall, the look will be simple, but serious looking hats. Yes, felt, elegantly shaped with perhaps a single feather. We'll face the new century head on.
Oh, bravo, Kate Hanley. Jeanette, you did a fine job. I'm proud of the way you stood up for order.
Well, for all the good it did.
Oh, I think it toned him down a bit. And a fine introduction. Brief and to the point.
Well, I learned that from you, dear.
Oh, is that what Arthur means by wheedling?
What are you talking about?
I'll explain it to you later, dear. And in exchange, I'll expect you to explain to me your stand on prohibition.
Well,
later, dear. I promised the fellows down at the lodge that I'd stop in, give them a report on the evening. Do you mind? I'm sure you're worn out.
Not in the slightest. I could go on all night. Lulu, why don't you come home with me while Morgan goes drinking? We, by contrast, need to do some sober thinking.
Reverend Taylor, would you join me? Oh, you're not a member of the club, are you? Well, you can be my guest. But then I suppose you must abstain?
Oh, I don't know about must, but I do. Anyway, I need to get back to my study and write a letter to a misguided editor. Perhaps I can take you up on your offer another time. But what I'd rather do, what I've been meaning to ask you, and I understand you go fishing in the river, trout and salmon.
Coho and steelhead at the mouth of the river, right below my house.
Would you let me join you sometime and maybe get me started?
Well, Reverend, I go fishing Sunday mornings while Jeanette is in church. In fact, fishing is my church. I'll wager that I'm as close to God when I'm off fishing as you are in church.
Oh, no doubt. Maybe closer. Well, it's sort of hard to be close to God when you're trying to lead a service. Maybe you could go out on a Monday once or twice. It's my day off.
Yeah. Oh, do you have a rod and some tackle? Because I do have some you can use.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
What a night. We've got to keep the momentum going right up to November.
With Susan B. Anthony coming back, we'll need a bigger venue than even the YMCA.
How about the tabernacles at the circles?
Well, I'd prefer downtown, but I suppose the Tabernacle is the largest venue we have.
It'll be wonderful. People can come on the streetcars. People love riding the streetcars. They can come early and picnic on the lovely park lawn. Oh, I can't wait to write the press release. I can talk about how the movement grew from the Methodist Church to the YMCA to the tabernacles at the circles.
And look, Lulu, something more serious. Now, I don't care if we are members of the Temperance Union. We need to talk about distancing ourselves from the Prohibition Party.
After what I saw tonight, I think you're right on that one. We can leave that cause to the capable hands of Reverend Taylor.
Let's go to my house. Oh, there's so much to discuss and to decide. You know, Kate's shop has been fun, but we need an official suffrage headquarters.
What about that space at St. George Hotel?
Oh, now you're talking. Oh, suffragists onward.
Tell everyone can vote.